But that doesn't mean that you need thousands of dollars to get into LeBron right now. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I mean, with the NBA season reopener coming in less than 24 hours away, the sports card market is hotter than ever. Let's talk about the two major games that are happening tomorrow. So first, we have the matchup between the Utah Jazz, led by Donovan Mitchell, and the Pelicans, who we all know that everybody in the NBA wanted the Pelicans in the bubble. And they made sure that they were going to be playing in this regular season. It's going to be one of the best opening games in history. Let's talk about the Utah Jazz first. So Utah Jazz is led by Donovan Mitchell, and he's one of my favorite guys to watch, right? He has the underdog mentality, he's athletic, he hustles, and overall, he's a great team leader. And when I, started investing in sports cards, I found it very interesting from the get-go that Donovan Mitchell's cards were severely undervalued compared to his draft class. So to give you an example, if you look at the base 2017 rookie class Prism PSA 10s today, of course you have Jason Tatum, right, who's sitting at roughly $710 right now per card. And that's not a surprise. We all expect a lot from Tatum, and how he has performed, since his rookie year with the Celtics has been tremendous. But then you'd be surprised that Donovan Mitchell is actually not the second highest valued card. It's actually Adebayo, who's roughly at $310 per card today, which is a huge shocker for me that he is priced higher than Mitchell. And then comes Donovan Mitchell at $290 per card as of today. And the fact that he's valued lower than Adebayo, and the fact that his card is less than half of Tatum's card, to me, just seems like a no-brainer to go after him right now. And of course, with any investment, you buy low and sell high, right? And a couple of other people to mention in his draft class, we have Lonzo, who's roughly around 200, 210 right now per card. Again, I'm talking about the base Prism PSA 10 rookie cards. And then you have Kyle Kuzma, who's at roughly 190. So to me, again, Donovan Mitchell, I think cards are highly undervalued. So I actually have a couple of him as well, of his Prisms and his Optic rookie cards. And I actually have 4 of his Prism base rookie cards with PSA right now. So fingers crossed that they come back at least a 9, hopefully some 10s in there as well. So I'm not going to cover the Pelicans too much here. We all know that the NBA really wanted them there, and it'll be really cool to see Zion and BI, Lonzo, all these guys play together in the bubble. But in terms of cards, it seems like everyone has jumped on the Zion bandwagon, right? Off of couple regular season games, as well as this one single photo that's been floating around in Instagram of him losing like 15 pounds of fat and gaining 20 pounds of muscle or something like that, and people are incredibly hyped. And to me, as an investor, I want to see more of him playing and more of his stats averaging out before I go heavily into him. But one thing to mention though and watch out for is Brandon Ingram, actually, in my opinion. So he was drafted number 2 with the Lakers, had some lower than expected performance earlier on in his career, but he's really showing up in New Orleans right now, and you could say that he's one of the top scorers there, and the young core really needs him to come out, show up, and play well. And I fully expect them to sign a max contract with him. So I picked up a couple of Brandon Ingrams earlier this quarter at a decently priced target. We'll see how he plays, but I'm bullish on Brandon Ingram, our KD wannabe, right? Okay, now let's talk about the real deal. Let's be real, the matchup between Jazz and Pelican really was a tease up or an appetizer to the main course. The matchup that we've all been waiting for. Lakers and Clippers. This game has been anticipated by fans, including myself, for a long time. I don't know if you can remember, but this game was postponed due to the tragic death and an accident of our beloved Kobe Bryant back in late January. So they had postponed the game that was supposed to be held at Staples Center, and we're going to see this live in the bubble as the first game opener for both Clippers and Lakers. So obviously, as you know, both teams are led by incredible leaders. LeBron, with his outstanding performance, with his just incredible energy and athleticism, and he is going to be contended against Kawhi Leonard, who we all know what happened last year. He single-handedly disappointed Joel Embiid and the Ben Simmons crew in the Eastern Conference Final, and really contributed to breaking down the Warriors, composing of Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson last season. And he is the defending champion, right? But one thing to definitely watch out for this game is how many minutes these players, including LeBron, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, and PG-13 would actually play before August 17th when the playoff starts. Granted that these games will not have a home court advantage of any sort, and so perhaps saving these guys' legs and knees and avoiding injury risk may be a smart thing to do. But I really hope the coaches adhere to what every fan wants out there is just 2 minutes of these four guys out there on the floor competing, even maybe defending each other and putting up shots against each other. I think that would be one of the best moments before the playoff season starts for me. And so let's definitely keep up the excitement and see what comes about for this game. So let's talk cards now, right? So as you can see from my jersey, I'm a huge Laker fan. And that probably happened because I'm a huge Kobe fan. And so naturally, I want to invest and see the Laker guys thrive and grow in their card value. And LeBron is someone that I have invested heavily in the last couple months. And I'm not going to lie to you, LeBron cards are not cheap at the moment. But that doesn't mean that you need thousands of dollars to get into LeBron right now. So what I have done in parallel to investing in his rookie cards is to pick up the latest 2019 Prism LeBron base silver and orange ice refractor cards that has him in his Laker jersey. It's interesting that to me, and maybe someone can help me out here in the comments, that the 2018 Prism card for LeBron has him actually in his Cavalier jersey, but says that he is part of the Lakers. So I didn't really like that, even though that was his first year with the Lakers. So I've invested heavily by buying raw, ungraded 2019 Panini Prism LeBron James cards, and on average I bought them for less than $25 in the last couple months. And they are soaring right now. Even as raw cards, they're about $45, which translates to about 80% gain. Of course, unrealized because I haven't sold them. But some of the cards that I bought on eBay actually were pretty in decent shape. So I was able to send them in to PSA for grading and hoping that they'll come back as 9s and 10s. And currently, the 10s are going for near $300. And the 9s, I believe, are going for a little over $100. So that's a huge return on investment, in my opinion. And guess what? Playoffs hasn't even started. And if all goes well, of course, knock on wood, no injuries and no outburst of coronavirus in the bubble, I really do expect LeBron to go long in this playoff season, if not till the very end. And here's a fun fact for you, for those of you who missed this out. Apparently, LeBron also collects his own cards, and that's super exciting for collectors and investors like us, knowing that the players also enjoy collecting their own cards and collecting other players' cards. And I believe other NBA players like Giannis has also shown via social media that he also collects his own cards, which is super fun just to be in the same game with these guys together. But regardless, in my opinion, whether LeBron wins the championship or not this year, of course, it'll help tremendously if he does get a ring with the Lakers this season for his card value. But I do see LeBron truly as a leader of this game, and really his legacy will continue regardless. And I believe that he will have the impact of MJ and Kobe. And we all know that his presence and his influence reaches beyond just basketball, even today. And there are so many future events that could really bring up the card value. For example, he retires, then yes, the card will soar. His documentary comes out, which I know that they're filming right now. His card will soar. Let's say Bronny comes into the NBA and they get to play together for one season in the Lakers. His card, along with Bronny's, will soar. There's just so many events that could happen in the future that just has a huge upside for me for LeBron. So if you're looking for a card to invest right now, I would say go for the LeBron James at your own budget, and you can definitely find those, whether they're graded or ungraded. Okay, so now going over to the other side of the city, the Los Angeles Clippers, let's talk about Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi Leonard in the past have been, just a solid player since his Spurs days. Textbook style, you can rely on him. He's like a well-oiled machine. There's no hesitation. And of course, he is the last year's finals MVP, right? And what's interesting though is his card actually didn't move much until mid to late May of this year. So his card was hovering roughly around $1,000. And then boom, people just getting excited about the announcements of NBA restart in the bubble in Orlando. His card is now almost $3,600. That is insane. That's almost a 260% growth in his card value. So step aside Shopify, Amazon, Netflix. No one out there can do 260% in less than 60 days. This will be my first NBA season where I will not only be watching the games closely and the players closely, but just really have this dollar sign on top of each player's head. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love watching the game. I love talking about, some of the greatest shots and plays that were made in that day. But, it's just super exciting, right? To just fangirl over my favorite players and also make good investment decisions along the way. So I really see it as a win-win opportunity, in my opinion. So I'm super excited. It's going to be fascinating just watching these players come together all in one spot, competing for a championship, obviously, in their mind. So if you liked my content and you liked some of the investment advices that I've given on this video, make sure to hit subscribe, and I will see you guys very soon.